Hey traders and investors, it's Serge Berger here. A few days ago, I sent out a video email warning people that we are probably very close to a sharp oversold bounce in the broader equity indices. And after Wednesday's bullish reversal, I do think we now have a pretty good odds that this low or the bearish washout has been completed and that we're in bounce mode. So it's important to understand that this is where you make your alpha, right? So most folks have a long-term investment portfolio somewhere as a retirement account, and if you buy the dips and sell the rips with another part of your portfolio, and that's really when you start making your big returns over the years. It's not like a hectic day trading strategy, which really the margin doesn't work so well. This kind of stuff is very much multi-day, multi-week, and works very, very well if we know what to look for. That's why I wanted to walk you through this bullish reversal with that first video a number of days ago, and now with what I think we've now had more or less confirmation that a washout has been had. So looking at the S&P 500 again, let's keep it very simple. I'm going to give you a few statistics. First of all, looking at the obvious here, you can see we did actually on Wednesday pierce below those August lows, and on an intraday basis, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here, and you can see that washout is now looking pretty obvious to be a point where sort of capitulation took place, and bulls will now give this a bit of an attempt to push the market higher. Logical resistance, so is somewhere between 1950, 1960 and up, maybe to 2000. So it's a fairly wide band. But what's much more important is that we, as active investors, we pounce down here when there's actually an opportunity and we have confirmation. So you can look at some very simple things. You can look at, for example, and I don't have it in front of me right now, but the advancers minus decliners on the New York Stock Exchange on Wednesday reached extreme lows that we haven't seen in about 20 years, guys. Okay, that's very, very severe. You look at more simple stuff like the MACD, just a very basic momentum oscillator, tells you how far the index has gotten removed from its moving averages, from the more medium to moving averages, and you can see that reached actually pierced below last August low. So very, very oversold from that perspective as well. The VIX, of course, rallied to no great surprise there, and then finally gave us a bearish reversal, which would be the inverse of what we saw in Wednesday's price action in stocks, of course. So this too is fairly good as a confirmation that we may have seen seller exhaustion for the near term. If you look at something like the Russell 2000, very important index to look at, and I always tell my Clubhouse subscribers, which by the way you will hear much more of the Clubhouse membership shortly in the coming days or so. You can look at the Russell 2000. It's about 17% below its 200-day moving average by historical standards. That is very, very oversold. You look at something like the MACD, again here too, you can see how severely oversold that was, even much more than what we had in August. Investor sentiment as measured by the AAII investor sentiment reading had reached fresh 5-year lows as well. Again, unfortunately, I have it in front of me right now. But again, we're very, very oversold. So the question is, how far do we bounce? Well, that, of course, is a question we will only be able to tell in hindsight. But what we want to do is we want to be able to pinpoint this. And as a general rule, I try to go for at least a 3 to 5% bounce in the Russell 2000. I think that tends to be in the cards fairly well when you see these flush outs. On the S&P 500, it's a little bit less. Maybe it's 2 to 4% or so. At the very least, the first upside target. It could be much more. I think the S&P 500 could indeed rally up to those levels I just said before, which if we just do a quick math here, you can see that would get us about 5 to 6% rally is totally not out of the question here either at this point. So next week, by the way, guys, we can have our market outlook webinar. So very special webinar, Market Outlook 2016 webinar. So look out for that email registration email to hit your inbox next week. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and as always, guys, I'll see you in the next video.